Yeah, so I came up with a segment, everybody, for this week. So we all know of a site called Reddit, and so many of us, probably everybody listening, probably knows of the subreddit "Am I the Asshole?"
Hmm.
And if you don't know what the subreddit is, real quick, it's just that. It's you post something, a situation, and the question is always, "Am I the asshole in this scenario? Am I in the wrong?" Basically, and then people will either say you're the asshole, not the asshole, or there's another one that I learned of recently that's everyone sucks here, which means like you're in the wrong and the other people are in the wrong and everyone just sucks in this situation. So these stories are always really fun to go through. I love watching like YouTube videos or like podcast segments where people go through these, but we wanted to put a film tangent spin on it. So I dug and found a handful, a solid handful of movie centric "Am I the Asshole" scenarios involving people going to the movie theater, people watching movies with their significant other, people
Hmm.
putting on movies, at home, etc. So that said, I'm actually going to start us off with a little bonus one that is not technically movie related, but it's involves an iPad. So you watch movies on an iPad. I was like, and it was good enough where I was like, I can sneak this in.
Hmm.
So this is the first one. Okay, this one's pretty cut and dry, but it's pretty fucking funny. So this one is called "Am I the Asshole for Not Taking My Daughter's iPad from Her?"
Hmm.
And it reads, quote, "I was on a flight with my 3-year-old daughter, and there was a family sitting across from us with a kid that looked about the same age. The little boy noticed my daughter's iPad and was trying to get at it and started crying when the mom told him no. My daughter and I both put on headphones and were just blocking it out. The woman got my attention after a while and said that they weren't allowing their son to use his iPad on their vacation, and would it be okay if my daughter put hers away?"
Hmm.
I said I was sorry, but no. The kid cried most of the flight, which was about 2 hours. The parents kept shooting me dirty looks, which I just ignored. Am I the asshole?
No.
No,
That's like
of
so
course
like
not.
that's such an obvious like of course not like however those people are
No.
parenting their kid it's like has no effect on like I mean that's ridiculous. I mean what do you think, Jack?
I mean, I definitely think you're not the asshole here. I mean, I think you could probably, looking from the other side, make the argument that it's only 2 hours and you could probably make the peace and just not deal with it. And everybody would have a better experience with the flight if the kid wasn't crying the whole time. But at the end of the day, it's not your fault. It's not really in your
Right.
control. Like the kid could have found something else,
Yeah.
like after you put
Yeah.
the iPad away. It's definitely not the asshole, but
So for some
Yeah.
reason
I agree.
this reminds me of that Louis joke. Jake, you probably knows where I'm going. It's like this one where he's talking about how parents can't help like their baby being upset,
Yeah.
and he was just talking about how like I guess somebody told him on a plane like his child was crying and somebody looked at him and said like could you like, could you like, could you do
Yeah.
something about this? And
Yeah.
I remember that the Louis recreation of like what he thought the guy was expecting him to do was just like to suffocate his baby.
Yeah.
oh god.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think I remember that joke,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's so awesome.
Okay.
Um, yeah, no, not the asshole. I mean, and how much do you guys want to bet that the couple that was the son's parents whose son was crying, who asked this woman to put her daughter's iPad away? I guarantee they were millennials, dude. I know I've shit on millennials so many times on this podcast, but I'll continue to do it because as far as I'm concerned, Edward, you are a millennial. You're a late millennial, and I'm 1 year off from being
You're
millennial.
not a millennial,
So
bro. Look it up.
19, dude, you were born in 1997, right?
Yeah, I thought I felt like outside of that. I thought millennials were like 95 or 96 or something like that.
Nine. Oh, I guess I'm wrong.
It's
96.
like that, bro. You
It must have
trying to push me onto millennials.
Gen Y.
Just so he could shit on you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
right.
saw that, right, dude? I'm happy that Jack's here.
That's crazy.
For
I
me,
thought it was 1997. Maybe they changed it. I could have sworn
it was always
Maybe
like
not, though.
that.
Oh no! You know what? I think I'm thinking of. I think I might be thinking of your sister, Jack, because I knew that she's like at the very tail end of being a millennial.
Yeah,
But
fits the bill.
I'm on your generation, bro. You ain't escaping me.
In some ways.
No, but yeah, like of course, they were totally millennial. That's such a millennial thing to do. Like, hey, can you please, to appease us, can you put your iPad away? Like, oh god.
And also, we appease our kids so much that when we take it away once, he can't deal with it.
Yeah,
right. Oof. Yeah, I know. I get it. When you're a kid, though, I feel for that kid, because when you're a kid and like your parents don't let you do something, and then you see like other kids doing the thing that your parents don't let you do, you're like, what the fuck? It's not fair. But most of that stuff you'll find. I guess if you're like a 5-year-old listening to this podcast, which I hope you're not, your parents probably aren't strict if you are, but. You'll find growing up, like a lot of those restrictions, I look back and I actually thank my parents for. I'm like, thank you for not letting me like play video games 8 hours a day. And but anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Okay. So the next one is, am I the asshole, for not seeing Deadpool 3 with my boyfriend?
I mean, is there? Well, let me. Is there anything else to this?
Yes, there is.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna read it. So they put this at the top. So I guess they I've actually read this one already, but the rest I'm going in blind.
Okay.
So they put this edit at the top. So I guess I'll read this edit first. So am I the asshole for not watching Deadpool 3 with my boyfriend? Quote, edit. I feel like I need to add some clarification for the people saying I should just go and answer questions he has. I had to pause episode 1 of Loki last week to explain the blue cube to him, which is in plenty of movies he's seen in the first 2 minutes of the show. And then I had to hear him complain because he hasn't seen Infinity War or Endgame, but they're kind of referenced in this too. So I think I'll skip over this, but I think her point is that like he's easily confused by like continuity and stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it sounds like it's like, why are you making him watch Loki if he hasn't seen the other movies? And he's going to be confused. He hasn't seen Endgame or Infinity War. I don't know. I'm kind of on this guy's side right now. Let's see if the story sways me in a different direction.
Yeah. So quote, I can't believe this is a problem, but my boyfriend randomly brought up going to see Deadpool 3 this week since it's out of theaters after Wednesday. He's never seen 1 and 2, but I have. I basically said, sure, we'd have to watch 1 and 2 this week, which he said he doesn't want to. Mm-hmm. I have no desire to sit in a movie theater with someone who has no idea what's going on, so I said I don't want to go, which he's annoyed about now. He said that he heard it's a good movie and he doesn't care that he doesn't know what's going on. I don't want to have to answer questions, and if anything comes up in the movie that relates to 1 or 2, I can't even talk about it since he has no idea what's going on at all. That doesn't seem like a fun time, and I don't feel like going to a movie theater when I could just watch it alone in bed. I'd basically be watching it alone anyway. It's the same thing if someone wanted to read book 3 of a series without 1 and 2. That makes no sense to me if you have no idea what led up to that. I told him to go himself then. I don't want to waste a trip to the movie theater for this. He thinks I'm an asshole, and it's not normal to think this way, and I just don't even know why it's an issue to begin with. I feel like it's probably pretty common, so I figured I'd see how Reddit felt.
I don't know, man.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and you boys tell me. I think she's the asshole in this one.
I agree.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. Good.
I would think so because. Okay. I mean, I was thinking so because it was like, I mean, she could tell him like, hey, like we're going to see this movie. You haven't seen the other two, like I would prefer if you just didn't ask me a ton of questions like during it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like that's it. Like there's like a easy middle ground there where both of them could be like, all right, I won't ask you as many questions. I might ask a couple if I need to.
Yeah.
And that, but the fact that there's like I get zero enjoyment from watching a movie with somebody who doesn't know like the past 2 movies. Deadpool's not a movie where you need to know all
not at
the
all.
things that
Deadpool
happen
and Wolverine
in the
is
past
standalone. That could have been the first one. I agree.
Yeah, so I think she's definitely.
I'm 100% with you. That was my thought process because it just sounded like such poor communication. Like if you're having these problems in your relationship, and it seems to me like it's just you're not communicating with your boyfriend and being like, hey, you know, like I don't really like having to answer all these questions for you. Like we can do these things, so just like, you know, let's not, like if you're not willing to go about it my way, then let's at least compromise. I'll go with you, but just don't ask me any questions about it, you know. But it's like she's like, no, I was just not doing it. I'll rather watch it on my own. It's like, what is it? Like, what thought process is this? It's like, why are you in a relationship?
I know. Well, that's what I was going to say. So much of a relationship, like, is so much of a relationship is just being chill and carefree and being like, hey, like, as long as we're together, it's cool. You know, that is so much of a relationship. And I feel like if you're not really into the person, though, you do have less of an ability to do that. Yeah, those little things start to bother you.
For sure.
Whereas, like, if you're really into the person and you guys have a good relationship, so much of it is just being like, hey, you know what? As long as we're together, no problem. You know, like, oh shit, we were supposed to go to this thing, but it's closed. Hey, no problem. Let's go to this instead. Done. But I feel like so many people that something like that would start fights. You know, like I remember a couple weeks ago, my significant other and I, hey, how you doing? She always does backflips whenever I mention her, but well, I suspect she does at least. But like a couple weeks ago, I mean, I think like I showed up to her house at like noon, and we were going to drive out like maybe a half hour to these like botanical gardens. And when I went on my GPS, it said closed. And so for a second, I'm like, oh shit, it's closed. And I was ready to just be like, okay, what's plan B? No problem, you know? But then it turned out like, oh no, the place is actually open. That's just the office or whatever. But point being is like, you just got to be like, I don't know why people get so uptight about stuff like this, you know?
Right.
It's like, you know, especially it's like it's Deadpool, you know. And here's one thing I noticed while I was sifting through this. You guys are going to see a pattern, and I hate to do this, but I started to notice a pattern with these. A lot of these where I thought the person was an asshole are really into like movies for children, which I think is interesting.
We've talked about those as man baby.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, it's always like about a Marvel movie or like a Harry Potter thing or something. Because I did actually see another one, but okay, so this person is the asshole.
Yeah, the asshole for sure.
Yeah, the other thing I'd add is, I mean, I have a little bit of sympathy for, you know, stopping and explaining something every once in a while. I mean, I don't think that's an enjoyable experience.
No, it's not.
No.
Shouldn't be the end all be all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, let me see here. Where was the next one? I got it in here. So I think I took let me see. Sorry guys.
No, you're good. It's funny though.
Yeah, you can keep talking.
It's funny because I'm just thinking about that, because it's like I'm thinking about like experiences that I've had, like where I've had to like explain things to people. Sometimes it's enjoyable. It depends on who you are. Like sometimes like it's like kind of enjoyable, like testing your knowledge of like a piece of work, you know. Like,
yeah,
I feel like I can sit down with somebody and watch like, I don't know, like Tenet. And be like, you know, I think this is what's going on. Like, you know, like when I was watching Tenet, I watched it on my own, but my partner, she came in and out of the room every now and then. And so, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, she would come in and she'd be like, what's happening? And I would be like, well, you know, I'll pause the movie. I'll be like, you know, I think this is what's happening, you know. And it's it's like a little bit of a challenge. So sometimes stuff like that's fun, man, you know. I don't know, but it's like you said, I think sometimes people take the joy out of things. And it's like,
yeah,
you know, and for me, I feel like
so true.
For me, so much of everything has become of like finding the joy in things. You know, it's like just trying to like see the positive in something, or doing something like, you know, and trying to challenge yourself. To me, that just sounds fun. You know, but different strokes for different folks, and not everybody, like Jack said, not every one of those experiences is fun. Especially if you're like into a movie and somebody keeps interrupting, like, and you have to keep going, like, oh well, you know, this is what's fucking happening. So there's a little bit of both sides on that.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's probably a different experience, like watching something again. Like, oh, I've already seen this movie. I really liked it, so like, let's watch it together. Then you probably don't mind explaining as much. But if it's like first time and you just want to watch it and absorb everything,
100%.
That's a factor too.
100%.
Yeah. If I'm with someone, especially someone who's not as big of a film buff as me, I'd prefer to watch something that I've seen, that I've vetted already. Like, you probably both of you and like my girlfriend could probably vouch for that too. But yeah, no, I agree with that. And yeah, like explaining stuff to people, like I get it. Again, like you said, when you haven't seen it before, it's kind of tedious. But yeah, like, you know, if you like, she's seen the first and second Deadpool movie. So I mean, dude, Jack and I, you're always explaining like certain books or something, or like video games you're playing. I'm always telling you about shit I watched or read. Like, that's fun. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right, Edward. People do suck the.
And case in point too, like Jack, like last week we did Furiosa. You hadn't seen any of those fucking Mad Max movies, like from what I understand, if I remember correctly. And it's just like, correct. You know, we still had a fucking podcast and had a great time. So it's like, fuck, yeah.
Well, in these blockbuster movies too, they make them now. They make them standalone so that you can go in. They can sell tickets without people worrying about like seeing.
But that's the issue though. That it's like even when they make them standalone, you know that they do certain things for the people with a lot of boogers in their nose to be like, I got that. That was an Easter egg, you know. And it's like, okay, good for you.
It's always the Easter eggs, man.
Jesus Christ.
The Easter eggs drive me nuts.
And every time
screen rant, top.
Oh, dude, exactly, dude. I was exactly about to just say that exact thing. Like then you go on YouTube and it's like, oh, all the Easter eggs you missed in the post credit sequence. And it's oh fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go.
By the way, let's 7:35. Let's put a pin in this so that Jack can give us his thoughts on Tenet before he has to jet.
Yeah.
If everyone's down for that.
35, you said, right?
Yeah, 7:35. Does that work for you, Jack?
Yeah. It should give me like 10, 15 minutes to talk about it.
Very good.
Cool. Okay. So this one, I haven't read this one yet. Am I the asshole for wanting to go see a movie with my friend instead of my wife? Okay.
No.
Quote. Well, Edward, let's see what it says. Quote, I, male 23, got invited to see the Sims movie by my friend when it comes out. I told my wife, 22 female, about it while showing her TikToks on my phone. Here's some backstory. About a year ago, the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came out in theaters. Our whole 6+ year relationship, she's known I love Spider-Man. Like, I love him. And back in 2018, when the first Into the Spider-Verse was announced, I told her that I was super excited to see the movie because I love Spider-Man, LOL, and 2, he's Afro-Latino. As a black boy growing up, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero, and when I found out about Miles Morales when I was in middle school, I was even more ecstatic because there was finally one that looked like me. Well, anyways, back in 2018, she saw the movie with her little brother that shared the same name. I don't know what that means. I wanted to see it with her, but as we were in high school and her mother was strict, we couldn't see it together, and she saw it with her brother. That's not a problem. Her little brother wanted to see it. I get that. Fast forward to last year, 2023, I saw the trailer for the movie and asked her if she wanted to see it with me. She told me that she already had plans to see it with her friends. That hurt my feelings because I had asked her to see previous movies with me, and she said she couldn't because she had plans with her friends already. I told her this and said that I wanted to go on a date with her to see it because it's my favorite version of my favorite superhero. She said she wanted to see it with her friends and asked if I wanted to come along with her and her friends. I declined because my feelings were hurt and I wanted to see the movie with my person as a date. We have not been to the movies as a date due to us having a baby in 2020. Oh, God. And because she always has plans to see movies with her friends. Okay, wrap it up, dude. Fast forward to today. I told her that my friend asked me about a week ago to go see the Sims movie with her. Again, movies for children. That's set to come out either at the end of this year or next year. She kind of got upset and said that she thought I'd see that movie with her because it's her favorite game. Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Your current Teams plan gives you up to 60 minutes per meeting. What?
I saw that. I saw that it says you have 15 minutes left. Jake, you fucked up, bro.
Fucking asshole, man. All right. Well, we got to figure out a new platform after today.
Everybody,
it's always something, dude.
Everybody, put an F on the comments for Jake.
Yeah. Well, at least Jack's jetting out of here, so that we can find that'll give us time to find something else.
We'll see. Maybe I can create like a meeting. And maybe we'll get 6 minutes out of my meeting.
That's true, dude. That's a good idea. Game in the system.
We'll see.
All right. Yeah. That's smart, dude. Okay. Fast forward. Okay. The blah blah blah. I pointed out how this is the same situation as me wanting to go see Spider-Man with her, and she wanted to go see it with her friends. She told me that the two situations were not the same and that she had already agreed to see it with her friends before I asked her. We got into an argument where she told me that I was just upset that I didn't compromise and see it with her and her friends. I told her that a compromise would have actually been seeing it with me, since she's seen every other movie I've been interested in seeing with her friends instead of me. Oh my God. Am I the asshole?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll chime in last.
I would say this is an everyone sucks here. Like, it's just like both of you are. I mean, both of you are like, yeah. Both of you here are like acting. You're just acting like children. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, your partner, first of all, kind of takes priority. Let's just say that. So you can go, like, if you're her, you can go see the Spider-Man movie with your friends and go see it with your partner. Mm-hmm. Whoa, what a concept. Mm-hmm. Like that's all. That's what I was thinking this entire time.
Yeah.
Like, again, easy, plan B. Like, you know, my girlfriend says, oh, I've been wanting to see that movie. Oh yeah, Jack and I are going to see it on Thursday, but I'll see it with you too. Mm-hmm. Done.
Right. I don't know. That's exactly what I thought too, that it's just like, again, it's just like, why does it have to be like one, like my way or the highway?
Yeah,
it's such a my way or the highway story. It's like, dude, and it's like, why don't you just invite her to come with you guys? You know, or like you said, like, why don't you just tell her, like, hey, you know what? You know, maybe we can see it before I see it with my friend, and then I'll just see it again with them. You know, or we can see it after I see it with my friend. And it's just like, my God, you know, it's like, guys, you know, it's like, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Somebody said everyone sucks here. This is why children shouldn't have children.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I think everybody's the asshole here as well. But like, the one thing I will say is I feel like the guy was waiting, like, since his, you know, girlfriend went to see the first Spider-Man with her brother. Like, he's waited like 6 years or however long it was. He's been waiting a long time to like have a situation like this to kind of get back at her. So I don't know if that makes him more of an asshole or not. But
you're right.
I think he was definitely like almost happy that he had this and was able to be like, got you back.
Well, you're right. I think you're right, Jack, because listen to what this commenter said. They said, you're the asshole. The Sims movie got announced, 2 days ago? Mm-hmm. It's in development. I don't even think there's even anything close to a release date. So really, I see this as more of you trying to pick a fight.
Oh! Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah, no, I'm with it. I think that guy's the asshole. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
What a silly goose.
I know, man. All right, that one was annoying. Let's move on here. Let me see. Oh, this one was funny. All right, I'm gonna pull this one up. Am I the asshole for wanting to watch a movie?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Without my GF annoying me.
Nobody should want to watch movies. This is really what this podcast is all about, listener. This is about becoming cynical about filmmaking, about storytelling, and about movie watching. If you're watching movies, you're an idiot. You know, Jake and I here, we really don't watch movies, and I'm pretty sure Jack doesn't also. All that we do is we watch the trailer, and then we read the Wikipedia plot summary, and then we come here and pretend like we watched the movie. I mean, it's a waste of time. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
Films, no siree, not for me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm like that guy in the last situation here. I've been just wait every week for the moment to just piss on something, you know, just to get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. Yep. Let's actually do this because my timer. I have like 7 minutes left in this meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
let's rock out until it pushes us out.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's do that. Okay, am I the asshole for wanting to watch a movie without my GF annoying me? Again, guys, here's the thing. You're going to remember the pattern that I said. All right? The pattern we've seen in the last two now. Here we go.
Children's
quote.
Movies.
Correct. Quote, my 24 male and my girlfriend, 19 female, have this tradition of watching a film every Monday night. We rotate who picks the film, and they can just choose which one they like. Last week, she chose a girly comedy, Bridesmaids. Anyway, last night, I chose Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets. She has never watched them, and I am a massive Potterhead.
Of course you are.
To be frank, I would have chosen the PS Philosopher's Stone, I'm guessing that is. But for some reason it wasn't downloading, and it's literally for kids. So I didn't think that the plot would be too hard to follow. Lads, I thought wrong. Literally every 20 seconds of the movie, she would ask me some ridiculous question. Who is he? I thought Harry lived in a cupboard. Why are they doing that? What does that mean? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was so done 30 minutes into the movie that when she asked the question, I just went, maybe if you paid attention and stopped asking, you will find out. Gosh, this guy's an asshole, dude. I did not yell. To be honest, I was being really restrained. She kind of huffs and moves away from me on the sofa. She kind of hufflepuffs, maybe, and moves away from me on the sofa. And
Ooh.
5 seconds later, pulls out her phone and starts playing some game on it. Like, what? I now am so cross because whenever I have to watch her movies, I don't disrespect her like that and cause her to completely not be able to appreciate the film. You guys got to listen to the edit at the end of this that he put. I tell her to just leave if she doesn't respect me this much, and rather than apologize, she swears at me and leaves. Now she is being really short with me over text, but I cannot work out what I did wrong. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit. 19 and 24 is completely legal and acceptable. I didn't come here to be judged on our very slight age gap.
Bro, when you first, I don't know if Jack, you noticed it, like when you said the age, I went like this, like, you know, I was like, okay, that's interesting, you know.
That's a child.
That's interesting, that age gap, you know. But no, in all seriousness, you're an asshole, bro.
Yeah. Well, this is funny enough. This is the opposite of the Deadpool 3 situation, because the first comment is, you set this up for failure by skipping the first movie. Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. This is the opposite of the Deadpool 3 scenario.
I mean, bro.
What say you, Jack?
I mean, again, sympathize with somebody not.
Yeah, I think we've all been there before.
You know,
I think we've all been there in a situation
yeah.
where you're kind of explaining a lot and you feel like the other person might not be paying full attention. But go on.
But he acts like a complete dickhead, and then like, you know, literally says like, "Well, leave if you don't want to," and then he's like upset, like of his own consequences of his own like things he said and actions. Like,
yeah.
Like you got to have a little bit of accountability here. Like there's none at all.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Maybe if you pay attention.
Yeah, and then he's saying like she's disrespecting him by not watching the movie and trying to enjoy it. Well, you made her not enjoy it by like being an asshole. Like, who's gonna want to sit there if you're like just treating people like shit? But
listen to this. Someone commented on that one that I just read. They said, this right here, you picked the later movie you wanted to see instead of introducing her to the franchise, starting with the first one. No wonder it was hard to follow, you get. Plus, if you're going to listen to what they said. Plus, if you're going to date a child, last year she was in high school, maybe show a little more patience. You're the asshole.
Oh, God, man.
Oh man,
show a little more patience, and that was what I thought too. I was like, bro, you're 25, bro. It's like, what is going on with you, man? Like, come on, bro. Like, how, like, come on, be mature about the situation.
Someone said, you're the asshole. You're dating a high schooler in your mid-20s, and you're the one that sounds super immature here. You picked a movie mid-series and are enraged. She asked questions about the plot. This makes no sense. Apologize and do better or be single. Your call. Someone else said,
Wow.
this girl is going from I like older men because they are more mature to I don't date older men because they are assholes real quick.
Yeah,
Through the
right. Grandpa.
Oh, this is great,
Oh,
dude.
jeez. That's a good one. That's funny. That was funny.
Someone said, you're the asshole. I'm a huge Potterhead. Then you've probably seen the movie multiple times. Who cares if she's going to interrupt you? Yeah. Maybe don't date a teenager and you won't be annoyed by one.
I'm surprised, dude. I feel like when posts get like that, it's like you have to. It has to become one of those like deleted by.
Oh yeah.
What is it, like deleted by poster or whatever?
Oh, if I'm getting blamed that hard, it's gone. It is gone.
This is gone. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, man. Did you have some Am I the Asshole stories you wanted to read too?
Shit, because I don't have anything.
Or no, they were from your own life.
Yeah, because I obviously would have been fun to have Jack here for those two. Fuck, I forgot like exactly like what it was. Basically like stuff like that, like me not wanting to watch a movie, but the only thing that comes to mind right now is that once
you're gonna out yourself as a huge asshole.
No, I watched a movie. And this is kind of something I've moved away from, so maybe you can be honest with me. But I watched a movie. I watched a movie that I knew I didn't like because I watched what's the name of that movie? About the people that you can't make noise, no noise, A Quiet Place. I watched A Quiet Place. Yeah, I watched A Quiet Place, and I watched this. I rewatched this for the second time over a summer. With a friend, I guess I can say that. But it was a friend of ours, a common friend of ours. It was their partner. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna really go into detail about anything. But we just randomly watched A Quiet Place in the afternoon, and I remember that they looked at me and they were like, "What did you think?" With like just like glowing eyes. It's like, wasn't that great? And I proceeded for like 3 minutes to be like, "No, that was terrible." And I was like, I can tell you why it was terrible because of this, and this. And then they were like, "Oh, if I look at it that way," And then I realized, like, after the fact, I was like, this is more of a story and less about. I was clearly the asshole here. And then after the fact, I thought about it. This is like back in like 2018, 2019, I think. So give me some room here, audience. I was like, what, 21 or something. But
I don't think you're the asshole for that.
But I just kind of expressed like my honest thoughts about the movie. But I could see how it just completely deflated them. In retrospect, I was like, oh fuck, they kind of just wanted to be excited with me, like, and I wasn't gonna. I'm not saying that I should have like feigned like excitement, but in retrospect, I shouldn't have been like so negative.
I could see that. Yeah,
that's what I thought about it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
immediately when you said that, like, am I the asshole? So sorry. So I was like, oh, this is in my head. I was like, this is the one time that I feel like I was an asshole to somebody, and I've become better at that. Like. And you probably like noticed that where it's like I really am not like, obviously we're doing this podcast, we're trying to review movies, so I'm gonna be more critical. But when I watch movies, it's kind of like in a more family setting. I've become very kind of reticent to be like, this sucked ass, because most of the time I feel like movies sucked ass. But I was like, no, this sucked ass. I was like, this is a terrible movie.
Had they seen it before?
No.
Oh, well then, yeah, that doesn't, you're not the asshole there. If it's like, if someone's like, I want to show you my favorite movie of all time.
No, I would never
do that. You're like, that sucked. Yeah, that would be bad. But no, to give your opinion, like the way I handle it, like if I watch a movie with people and it's all of our first time watching it, right? And then it comes to the end, and like the other people in the room are like, "Oh my god, that was so amazing! That was great. That was really good."
In like 40 seconds.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's bounce out. Like, oh, that was really good. I mean, I might say like, I didn't really like it, but I might not like go in on it. I might go in on it though. Because it's like, it's all our first time. There's no attachments to this, unless, like, say someone in the room was really excited to see this and they're a big fan of this franchise, or like they read the book that the movie's based on, or something, or I'll go softer. I'll factor those things in. And if someone shows me like a movie they really like, again, I'm still not going to pretend I liked it, but I'll be very, very gentle and be like, I thought it was all right. Not totally my cup of tea, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I appreciate people not being fake with me, and being like, well, it was good. But it wasn't my cup of tea, or like, oh, like I'll show, if I show someone a musical artist, I would prefer them to be like, not really my jam, than say like, yeah, it's good, and like they don't actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think you're the asshole.
But... Yeah, no, because I'm with you. I'm not at all about like pretending, to be anything. But in that particular instance, I just felt bad after the fact, because I just felt like I was like so harsh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, it's just one of those instances. And then there's other stuff, like there's other movie watching stuff I think with me over the years where I don't know, I can't think of anything now. But that was like my big, like, I thought that would have been like a point of contention. I would have loved to share that with Jack, to see if he actually was like, no, I thought you were 100% an asshole.
Nah, I don't think he would have thought that. I think actually one time I did kind of the same thing, but I think I was the asshole in the scenario, because I think it was around that same time, and I think it was our other roommate was showing everybody a horror movie that he really liked.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was I'll name the movie. It was Lights Out, and I thought it was just dog shit.
I remember that.
And it was like actively pissing me off, so I would keep like making comments during the movie of like, why is there a gunshot sound like every time the ghost comes on screen? But I think I had come in like part of the way through.
You did. Movie. I don't think you were there from the very beginning.
So I didn't have the context. I think then I realized later that he really liked it, and I was like, fuck. God. Oh, I was like, damn, I'm an asshole.
I don't think you were an asshole.
Because that has to be the most... If I were in his position, I would have been so annoyed if I'm showing everybody a movie I like and someone's sitting there doing like Mystery Science Theater 3000 commentary on it. Like, I would be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, I was 20. I'm sorry about it, man. I did not. That was... uncalled for.
That's an interesting
one. To be
one.
fair, I didn't realize until after I had started making those comments that he liked the movie, though.
That's an interesting one, because I can see that where, from their point of view, they'll probably be like, oh fuck, this guy's poo-pooing this movie, and I like went out of my way to like hype everybody up, and we're all here.
Yeah.
I don't think you were like fully like an asshole for that.
I'd give myself a YTA for that one.
I will attribute you some just kind of like, oh, maybe assholery, like a pinch of salt of like, oh, maybe a little bit,
asshole.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's like not. There's a little bit of nuance there too. Like, I don't think it was fully like, and you didn't know, because that's the thing. It's hard to really put that on you when you didn't know, because you weren't there to begin with. You really only understood it like after the fact. But so yeah, I don't know. I'll take it away from you, but I'll throw like a couple salt grains on you.
Yeah.
A couple like asshole salt grains.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right, let me find. I'll do a couple more of these, and then we can do our recaps and kind of wrap it up. And if you had something else you wanted to go into too, though, I'm down. I'm not in a rush.
No, that sounds good.
Oh, this one's funny. So this is not technically film related, but this one I thought was hilarious. Hold up. Let me see. This is video game related. Let me see.
I'm gonna check on the US.
So this is. What'd you say?
So I'm gonna check on the US Open. I'm gonna give the audience an update. You know how big I am into tennis. Another women are playing their semifinal. Shouts out to Arina Sabalenka. I just want her to win. She won the first set. They're playing a second set right now. Maybe going to a tiebreak, but yeah. Go ahead.
Hell yeah. Okay, so this one is, am I the asshole for yelling at my son for his liking of a video game character?
Okay.
And it reads, quote, I, 42 female, have a 13-year-old son who has become obsessed with the character Kakichi Oma from a video game series he's into. I'm gonna
look up what this character even looks like. Kakichi Oma.
Kokichi Oma.
Kokichi.
I'm gonna look up.
Kokichi.
I'm gonna see what he looks like. Okay, yeah. Okay, so she says this started at least quote, this started at least a year ago when I bought him the game on the PS4 where he would start getting merchandise of this said character.
Edgy looking.
For example, pins, stickers, t-shirts, etc. He talks about the character nonstop sometimes, giving an analysis about the character, and if anyone says something about it, he will continue with his tangent even more. Tangent. My husband and I have found it incredibly annoying, but we've stayed silent because we don't want to shut him down or hurt his feelings. Yeah. He got a costume of him and has wore it in public, despite me going against the idea of him wearing it on casual occasions that aren't like Halloween or a party, but he still does anyway. 13.
13, okay.
He even started mimicking some of his personality traits.
Yeah.
I don't mind as much when it was small things like this, but the more time goes by, the more his behavior starts to go more extreme. He constantly copies Kokichi's script lines in conversations, which makes it hard for us to have a normal dialogue with him without him breaking out in some annoying voice line of his. Overtime room is covered in posters related to the character, and he has had his phone case and lock screen and home screen as this character. Mm-hmm. Trust me when I say I tried to be patient, but I really couldn't when he began mimicking Kokichi's more problematic traits, like being extremely manipulative and disrespectful. Mm-hmm. When I confronted him about this and expressed that it was negatively affecting his behavior and our family dynamic, I ended up taking out all of my stress that I bottled up over the time, and I ended up yelling. I told him that he needs to stop idolizing a character who promotes such negative traits and start focusing more on his real life and relationships instead of being stuck in this delusional phase of his. He was really hurt by my reaction and ended up shutting down and going back to his room. Now it's been 2 days, and now it feels like I attacked something he genuinely loves and finds comforting. Mm-hmm. I told some of my loved ones about this. My sister and husband thinks I overreacted and should have approached the situation more calmly, while my dad and sister's husband believe I was right to address the issue before it escalated further. While others think I should have stayed silent and just waited for his phase to end eventually, I genuinely don't know how to process the situation, and my son hasn't really talked as much as he usually does since then. Am I the asshole? How should I process this?
Well, this is the first thing. Being a parent's difficult, you know. Were they an asshole? Yes. I think the answer for that one's yes. But it's difficult being a parent because it's just like, it's like, it's like what's when you're having to raise a person, it's like you're stuck kind of thinking like, what's the right thing to do? And like a lot of people have different philosophies on parenting and what's right and what's wrong. And it's like, I'm not going to debate that. I'm not anyone's parent. But, we are all, we're all special in our own kind of ways. I guess I can just say that. And it just kind of feels like maybe her son was, like she said, going through a phase. I feel like we've all had phases like that as teenagers. And I don't know. I think that maybe she should have. I think 100% she should have approached it like more tactful, with more tact. I think it is.
She had an emotional reaction.
Exactly. Like I think it is true. Like what I think her sister said, that it's like, or I think it's true rather what her dad said, that it's like, I think it's good that you kind of addressed it, because a lot of the times like stuff like this, especially taking into account, different people have different mindsets and different people have different kind of emotional maturity. Like stuff like that can sometimes escalate into like very like negative behavior or like things that could have like societal consequences. So it's like, it's good to address this kind of things, and as a parent, obviously she probably was kind of like struggling with that. I think it's just the way that she handled it. It's like she shouldn't have had that kind of emotional outburst and just kind of crushed their son, because you also don't want to do that. So
yeah,
I will acknowledge the difficulties of parenting. This is not like a black and white thing, I would say. But was she the asshole in this situation? I think so.
Yeah, I agree. And the comments address something that I didn't even factor in. So someone said you're the asshole for a couple of reasons. First, the game in question is an M-rated game for a reason.
I think it's an adult game.
And isn't appropriate for a 13-year-old to play through. So this woman is like, oh, he's like, where'd she say that? She said, he's mimicking the character's more problematic traits, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, why'd you buy him the fucking game then?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, like, why don't you look into what he's playing?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I think this person just kind of sounds like ignorant a little bit, where it's like maybe they just don't really understand like child development, you know, and the best way to approach. Maybe their sister, maybe they should have talked to their sister, who seems to know a little bit more than them beforehand.
Yeah, you do have to be careful because I understand. I mean, there are like, especially when you're younger, you get the wrong. If there's like characters that kind of are surface level cool and
Mhm.
stuff, but you know, adults know, like, you know, that's, but really they're bad. For example, I mean, there's like, you know, a lot of people in like the Better Call Saul community, right? The general consensus is like Lalo seems like a really cool guy. You know, he's
Right.
cool on the surface, but it's like
Mhm.
adults can look at him though and say like, but he's a terrible monster and he should not be emulated. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
But like kids can't make those calls. Like
No.
I heard there was an interesting something very interesting that I heard recently. So there's this UFC fighter named Sean Strickland.
I've
He's
heard
the
of him.
guy who, yeah, he's the guy who beat up Sneeko like a few months ago,
Mhm.
the YouTuber. Like they had a sparring session and Sean Strickland just went ape shit on him.
Yeah.
And he was actually on Theo Von's show and like broke down crying, talking about how his dad abused him and stuff when he was a
Mhm.
kid, and like how his dad beat him and threatened to kill their mom and stuff. But anyway, he mentioned that when he was a kid, he became for a short time like a white supremacist
Mhm.
because he didn't have any male role models, but his grandfather was a white supremacist, and so he was like, well, I'll be a, you know, he wanted to be a white supremacist.
And that
And
happens
one
to a
thing that I
lot
found,
of young people, I feel like, in this country too.
well, yeah, and one thing that I found fascinating is one thing that inspired him to become a white supremacist was the movie American History X, which is an
Yes.
anti-white supremacist movie. But
Yeah.
because when you're a kid, you watch a movie like that and you don't understand what's being said. All you see are like, you know, if you're in his position and your grandfather's a white supremacist, you know, he was like 11 or 12,
Mhm.
and then you see like people in this movie, like the main character, you know, he has like a girlfriend and he's got camaraderie with his friends and stuff. You see just those things
Mhm.
and you want to join that club, you know,
Yeah.
whereas that's why movies like that, you should not be showing
No.
movies, video games like that to kids,
No.
because kids can't differentiate like that.
No. And that's
And some
that's
adults can't for that matter.
right. And that, yeah, even a lot even even some fucking adults can't, like you said. And that's, that is where, I mean, that's why the whole fucking rating systems exist, doesn't it? Like, there's people who
Right.
are professional people that are there to evaluate these kind of things. Like, what can
Mhm.
young people be exposed to? Um, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's really is just about protecting like people at those ages, right, from being exposed to things that could be traumatic, or just kind of like fuck with their kind of brain chemistry in such a way where they're just kind of, it's like, oh, now it's like, I don't know the difference of right and wrong, and now I'm gonna do these things in real life that maybe I shouldn't do, kind of shit. Um, which is fascinating because it's always been the discourse, isn't it? Like when they took Tarantino to task, and he was like, "Shut your butt! I'm gonna shut your butt down,"
Yeah,
because they were just
yeah.
asking, like, "Hey man, you're making really violent movies," and it's like, well, but what he said was true in that interview where he's like, "These movies are for adult audiences," like I'm not
Right.
making movies
Yeah.
for children.
Right.
But no,
And
yeah,
they're all the subtext of all of those movies are all very like, I mean, you know, you look at a movie like Django, it's anti-slavery, it's
yes.
anti the bad thing in question.
But
You
again,
know, it's not
you
like,
can be a young person and watch the movie and get confused and be like, oh,
right.
So
Yeah, if you're a young kid watching that movie, you could be like, "Oh, Leonardo
it's
DiCaprio's character
cool.
is cool."
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember, you know, if I were going back to like the Lalo character, just because I like bringing him up because that's my favorite villain in fiction, pretty much.
Hmm.
Lalo Salamanca from Better Call Saul.
Hmm.
And I mean, when I was a kid, if I saw Better Call Saul, I probably, you know, I could see a kid who likes that character, I don't believe the whole. I'm not going to go into like I don't think that media causes people to commit like actual violence. I mean, and anyone who wants to argue that, I just read, the guy who wrote Mindhunter, FBI behavioral profiler. I read one of his books recently, and he has a whole chapter where he goes into that.
No, I agree with you.
He talks about how that's bullshit.
No, it's bullshit. I do agree that it's like an inherent quality in an individual. I think for some individuals who act on those kind of things, it's just more so inspiration, I feel like.
Yeah, but I just want to throw that caveat in, but I will say that I could see a kid who is nonviolent, who first of all who is naturally violent, emulating some of the things Lalo does, but also some of the violent things Lalo does. But also I could see a kid who is nonviolent not emulating any of the violent stuff Lalo does, but even just some of the non-violent bad shit that he does, talking to people shitty, like telling, he treats Nacho like a piece of shit. Yeah. He treats all his underlings like a piece of shit.
No, and I agree that,
he drives like a moron, like doing donuts and stuff. He's a moron. Like, there's so many non-violent things that Lalo does that are still like shitty.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you.
If you went and emulated, you'd be like the biggest prick in the world.
No, and I agree with you in the sense that I think it was helpful for you to add that caveat just so the audience doesn't get confused with what the hell we're talking about. But I agree with you, because then the other side of that, and I think that's what you're kind of getting at, and it's like there's almost an impossibility, of media not affecting us in some way, shape, or form, behaviorally or emotionally. It's like you listen to sad music, you get sad, so it's there, there's obviously then, that element of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure, man. No, that led to an interesting topic, I guess. Yeah,
look at that. Some smart tangents.
Yeah, right.
For once.
No, but I think it's very interesting because, again, like I look at a character like Lalo from Better Call Saul, and it's like, but on the surface, he's cool, he's handsome, he's charming, he drives a cool car. So I could see like a kid, looking at a character like that, like in this whatever video game. I'm not familiar with this video game that they're talking about, but and just seeing those surface level things and being like, well, now I want to emulate everything about that character, and so lady, you're the asshole, and look at the ratings on the cover of the games too.
100%. No, 100%. I've been there, dude. I've been there. I've been obsessed with fucking Goku and Dragon Ball as a kid. Like it's just a natural part of being a kid. It's really just about what you're exposed to.
Yeah. Before we get into our recaps, I had a bonus one here. This one's really quick. This isn't even Am I the Asshole? This is just something I saw on Reddit that was hilarious.
Go ahead.
This is in the Dexter subreddit, and the title is, "Does Dexter work out?" And the person says, "Very stupid question, but I mean, come on, guys. The guy's low-key ripped. He just doesn't wear the clothes that show it off. Wonder what the actor's workout looks like." And so then someone comments, he stated multiple times on the series, especially season 8 and season 7, that he does work out and goes to the gym. And OP replies, "I'm on season 3. Cut me some slack. God damn." 62 downvotes. People are like, "Bro, you asked."
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude, what? You didn't tell anybody that you're on. First of all, you didn't tell anyone what season you were on. And second of all, he was just telling you. Yeah. He was answering your question.
Yeah. Jesus,
and I scrolled down in there. The OP was like, "Well, sorry, I just, tone doesn't come across well in text." It's like, what?
No,
what are you talking about? He was just answering your question.
Yeah. That's really funny. It's like I guess somehow how that guy wrote that like offended him.
I guess.
That's pretty funny. Oh,
so stupid.
All right.
But